thirsty, partner?
Hello, and welcome back to the Thirsty Forward channel. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please smash that like and subscribe button. Let me know that you're enjoying the content. Will hopefully help that algorithm over time. So today's content is going to be a little bit of a quirky one. So we've decided that we're at St Mary's Stadium anyway, and we've decided that we're going to try out something new that's popped up. So this is a sort of what I describe as maybe like a virtual reality sort of thing. It's a pop-up here, level 1. So level 1, yeah, St Mary's have decided to open it up. There's going to be various different games there. We're looking at virtual reality golf and virtual reality shooting, I believe. So that should hopefully be some good fun activities. And we're going to see if the beer in there matches up to hopefully what's going to be a good fun day out. So yeah, so let's get into it and see what it's all about. The first game of the day was the shooting, where you can see that there's 3 different types of games that you can play in the shooting area. But before we do that, let's go and review one of the drinks, which was the Guinness. Right, now, so we're going to be doing a Guinness review. So I know I've done a few Guinness reviews in the past, but yeah, so they've got Asahi, Guinness, and I can't remember, and Peroni. That was the other option. So not a lot on offer, but before, as we've got a Guinness here, we might as well do it. So we left it to settle for a little bit. As we weren't at the bar, I couldn't see how long they left it to settle when they were doing a pour. Anyway, looks like a reasonable pint of Guinness. Chicken out the head right now. So it's got a reasonable head to it. Just doing a quick head test. But yeah, let's do chit chat more to the tasting. Cheers. No, overdone on splitting the G. So yeah, a bit greedy there, but what are my initial thoughts? So I was recently at Shenanigans, trying to compare it to that. The initial taste, I think it was better than Shenanigans, the initial taste. Yeah, let's give it a proper taste, see if my first thoughts are correct. Oh, it's a good pint, but not as good as Shenanigans when I'm thinking about it. Got a bit of an aftertaste, which I'm not sure if I like. Slightly metallic, but it is quite close to Shenanigans. Therefore, my rating on that is going to be a 7.6 on the rating. 7.6 out of 10 is my thoughts on the Guinness. So, listening to your feedback, it was clear you wanted a specific beer ranking table. So I've created one to log all the beers I've tried on the channel so far. There may be some minor corrections on a few tipples I've tried, but this should be pretty accurate alongside the venue rankings. As you can see, the Guinness did do pretty well in my beer rankings, coming within the top 11. As time goes on, I will see if I can make the table more visually appealing. So after some teething issues, we managed to get the game sorted and get the guns working. So we're going to do some vaping shooting. We'll show you what the results of that is. Looking at the scores, it was clear I was pretty terrible at the shooting simulator compared to my mate, which is a common theme across all the shooting mini-games. But we agreed this wasn't the best game out there, and that we hoped the second game of mini-golf coming up would be a lot better. Now moving on to the next part, where I'll be rating the next beer, following by the food. So, now we've done the shooting, we're going to be on the next pint. So this is the Anytime IPA. This is done by the brewers Meantime. It's a 4.2% American IPA. Yeah, obviously brewed by the brewers Meantime. So, yeah, I'm giving it a look now. So you can see it's got a reasonably good colour. So the head has settled down onto it. There wasn't like a massive head on it in the first place. So yeah, that's gonna give it a go. So my mate just across the table with me hasn't given it a good first impressions, but let's try it myself, see whether I agree with him, whether it's maybe not as good as some of the other pints that I've had. Cheers. Yeah, I've got to agree with this. It's all right. Well, I wouldn't say it's blowing me. I wouldn't say it's absolutely blowing me away. So there's not a lot of flavour to it. When I've had IPAs in the past, it's been very, very citrusy. Got notes of orange or maybe like notes of lemon. This hasn't got anything at all. It's nice and refreshing. I could probably drink a lot of them if I was on a session, but if I'm thinking just this one-off pint, am I gonna remember this for weeks and days to come? I don't think so. So therefore, what is my rating gonna be? I'm gonna be giving that, my rating on that, I think it's gonna be, yeah, I think a 6.5 is a fair rating for this. Relatively average-ish, but yeah, nothing to remember, nothing to write home about. So that's my thoughts on the IPA by Meantime. This in my ranking table put the beer at around mid-table, which reflects the beer. Pretty average, but nothing special. One thing that I did forget to mention was that there was a few drinks offers that may be ideal for a big crowd that is happy drinking the same stuff. Moving on to the food, you can see the menu is nice and simple, consisting of burgers, chicken, hot dogs and pizza, which is ideal for a venue like this, where people are likely to only want simple, filling, tasty food. I went for the wings, that comes with a dip of garlic mayo and celery, despite not liking celery, and some fries on the side. Right, so a quick comment that I wanted to make on the food whilst I was ordering it. It seemed like a right pain in the arse when I was ordering the food. So initially when I went up to order it, I thought I'm going to go up to the till, because I'm not normally a massive fan of so how you do it normally is you've got the QR code, scan the QR code, and then you kind of go, and then you do it all on your phone, all online. But for me, maybe I'm a bit old school, a bit of an old man, but I like to actually interact with staff when I'm actually ordering my food and drink. But when I ordered it, there was a lot of confusion. So I ordered the wing basket. So I ordered the 12 wing basket, and all I wanted was to make sure that the dip, which it said it was included in the menu, was in my food. But then we had a bit of argument, a bit of to and fro, whether they got confused to say that say whether the dip was or wasn't included or not. But yeah, we had a lot of to and fro, and they just told me to essentially go back to my table and use the app. So, and then the app does say the same thing. But I was told by the waiter a host of different things. It did seem like a bit of a riddle at the end of the day. So yeah, a bit confusing, and it's a bit annoying. So I just want to simply order my food and just have it how it says on the menu. And as well as that, my friend also ordered a fried chicken burger, and although he says it's nice, it came out as a grilled chicken burger. Yes, he didn't want to complain because it was still nice anyway, but if he's ordered a fried chicken burger, it should be a fried chicken burger, as simple as that. And if it's not that, then it's been a bit substandard. So that's my prior thoughts and comments to the food just before it comes. But hopefully when it comes, it's going to be good and it's going to make up for those, hiccups that we've had. After a bit of a palaver with the food situation, I eventually got my wings with that dip that I was looking for. So now the food has just come along. So we have got, as I just showed you earlier, we have got the wings. That's come with celery, which I have flicked off because I'm a bit of a fussy bastard, don't like celery. We've also got a mayo, finally got the mayo dip after a bit of toing and froing. We did manage to get that, and we just got some skin on fries. So first impressions, it does actually look pretty good. So yeah, so it's, the chips, they do look, let's say, feeling them, they do look crispy. The chicken does look good as well. But yeah, let's give it a go. First of all, with a chip in the mayo. Yeah, pretty quality. Yeah. Quite like that. It's nice. Crispy. Just, yeah, probably a standard, like, frozen chips or fries. It's quite nice. And that mayo is pretty good as well. Let's see what a chicken is like once I stop dropping the bugger, and see what it's like in the mayo as well. So I've gone for the honey mustard dip. Wow. Got a fucking bone there. Ow. Once I stopped eating the bones, so yeah. No, good. But when I'm thinking of it, I'm going to be comparing it to Wingstop. So I've had Wingstop, I had honey mustard on it before. I think it does match up to it. So honey mustard is nice. What am I going to be rating it food-wise? So once I've actually got the food, I'm just going purely by the taste and presentation. It's good. Not absolutely elite, but it's just basic, bog standard grub. I'm going to give that a good solid, good solid 8.3 out of 10. That's my thoughts on the scran at level 1 in Southampton. Next up was the mini golf. This worked in a different way to your bog standard game, where you would score points based on which hole you managed to putt the ball into, with harder, riskier shots often given more points, but low scores being the punishment for missing the risky, high-scoring hole. There were several different holes that could be completed in any order. You just needed to enter the code at the beginning of the game, and the system will remember your score prior to taking your shots. Coming up are some videos of me showing how not to do it, before I then finally mastered the art of it, sort of. Are you taking the absolute piss? Yes. Overall, I thought the golf was a brilliant experience and something a bit different. Something I'd definitely recommend. And there was also other activities to do, from your bog standard pool tables to more unique ones such as rock or wall climbing, an assault course on the roof of the venue, and a football or ball game simulator. Now cut back to myself at base, where I give my final thoughts on my time at level 1. Right, so I'm back at base now just to give my final thoughts and my little outro. To give my, very honest and brutal opinion of the level 1 experience at Southampton Stadium, St Mary's. So, we tried the Guinness and we tried the Meantime IPA. And the Guinness, I remember giving that a score of 7.6. And then the Meantime, I gave the score of that being a 6.5. So therefore, I gave that a overall average score of 7.1. So, which I thought was quite a fair score, seeing as it was relatively average-ish for the Guinness, but it was let down by that meantime not being that great. So therefore, we move after that we move on to the food. So food was pretty good. It was so it did what it said on the tin. And I thought, yeah, the chicken was nice and it did have a good honey mustard glaze. Once everything did come in after that palaver had been sorted out. Therefore, I give the food just purely by tasting it and just by value for money as well. An experience. I give that an 8.3 out of 10. Then moving on then to the cleanliness. Absolutely no issues at all. It was absolutely squeaky clean, spotless actually. So therefore, I'll just give that a straight out 10 out of 10 experience for that. But then we move on then to the vibes. So the vibes, I feel like I was let down by that. So first of all, I did have issues ordering the food, and then I did have some issues with the staff. So the staff did make me out to be a little bit bit silly at the time. So when I'm ordering something off a menu, it clearly states on the menu it comes with a sauce. Therefore, I want to have the sauce with that. And there's a bit of to and fro in with that. And it did come across, it did even border on being a little bit rude at times, where I was made to feel a little bit silly, whereas I just wanted to have something that was on the menu, that was even there both on the QR menu and there in the physical menu in front of me. So yeah, it was a little bit annoying. I was a little bit disappointed and frustrated with that, I must say. If we exclude that, the staffing issues when it comes to the food, so the vibes. So we did the clay pigeon shooting as an activity, and that was an absolute rip off, not worth your time at all, absolutely rubbish. I think it's the sort of thing you could get shooting at an arcade, and it would be literally probably the same sort of experience, if not better, and for like a third of the price. But absolutely chalk and cheese when it comes to the crazy golf or the mini golf. Really good fun experience, and I enjoyed that. That was good quality fun, despite me being absolutely terrible at it. And there looked like some other good activities that you could do there as well. So like a VR room for like football, I think it was. And then there was I think there was there was a wall climbing exercise. And then there was I believe so there's some driving simulation there. So they also had the sort of like the virtual darts, and then there's sort of like I think there's like an above like a maze above your head where you could do some courses with that. So yeah, I think there was good stuff to do. So maybe just we didn't pick the best thing at a time, but just based on my personal experience, I gave that a 6.7 when it came to the vibes, because it was also absolutely dead when we went in there. So my mate, he personally likes a place when it's quiet, because he can just do whatever. He's not a massive person socially when it comes to maybe when it comes to just going out. He just likes to do his own thing quietly on his own or with a few personal mates. But for me personally, I like to go out, socialise. If I bump into someone else and we start having a chat, that's great. But I also do like just the general buzz that a lot of people in an area tends to give off. So that's the reason why I gave that a 6.7. So therefore, I'm going to pause the video quickly whilst I work out the average. So just to quickly tot that up, because I didn't tot up the average rating, but after doing the calculations now, I give that an average overall rating of 8 on the nose. So yeah, not the absolute best, but not the worst. So I think there's definitely some areas that they could work on. So in terms of the vibes, I think is the main area that needs to be working on. So I don't know, maybe if some the clay pigeon shooting, there were some maybe different games just to hype it up and then make it a bit more fun and enjoyable possibly. So that just wasn't for me and it just didn't work. And then I think the staff definitely, I think maybe it's maybe you could possibly give them the benefit of the doubt. It was the very first full day of opening to actual customers. So yeah, but I think they do need to work on that and maybe just work on the customer experience. So I was made to feel a little bit silly in there for something I was, in the end, I wasn't wrong about. I was correct. I read the menu correctly, and in the end, it was actually them that was incorrect in terms of the sauce that came in my meal. So yeah, I think it's just stuff like that. And then of course, that meantime IPA is just, I don't know, maybe I had a bad pint. So I feel like I've had that pint before and it's been better, but just today it was just completely off it at all. But yeah, anyways, that's my thoughts on the place. So I'm keen to get your thoughts. More of you may want to check out this level 1 place in Southampton. So if you do check it out, let me know. Yeah, is some of the other activities that I didn't do, is that pretty good? Yeah, and worth maybe coming back to check it out at some point. Or did you do some of the same activities that I did? And yeah, whether you let me know whether you agree with how I found the experience. Yeah, or maybe whether you disagree with it. Let me know. I'm curious to know your thoughts. As ever, yeah, thank you very much for listening in to the video. Yeah, as always, it means a lot to me for you to be tuning in, yeah, engaging, giving the likes, giving the comments. So yeah, I enjoy all of that funky stuff. But yeah, until then, on the next episode of The Thirsty Foreman, it's over and out. Cheerio.